Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In the previous video, we concluded the stopping power of the 327 Federal Magnum was very adequate. However, it came at a high cost in the loss of shootability. As I promised, we would run it off with the 357 Magnum. For those familiar with the channel, we've done cylinder dumps or magazine dumps in the past. And as always, I began with the disclaimer that I don't shoot a lot of revolver, and all we're talking about here is how controllable the gun is with a reasonable amount of accuracy. So, even though 327 Federal Magnum revolvers will hold one more round than a 357 of the same size, just to make the time elapsed formula work out, I'm only going to put 5 rounds into the Ruger, so it's a fair demonstration. I have my steel set up. We're going to put some slow-mo cameras on, and hopefully you can get a good idea of the difference in recoil and the way I run the gun, whether there is a true loss in shootability with 357 or maybe it's a tie. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. I've staged the cylinder so that the gun will go off when fired. This is, of course, a double action only revolver, very commonly found in everyday carry applications. I'll try to work the gun as fast and as accurately as I can, but if you've watched the previous video, you know it jumps around pretty good anyway. So let's give it a shot. So we're up, we're on the target, and that's slower than I would typically go, but I do believe I recorded all hits, and as advertised, the gun bucks around pretty good. The ammunition that I have for the 357 demonstration is from Ammo Incorporated, and it is a 125 grain jacketed hollow point, as you would also typically find in self-defense applications. This weapon, of course, is single and double action, also from Ruger, but I'm only going to fire it in double action mode as recommended in an emergency situation, which we've talked about before on the channel as well. So 357 Magnum, hopefully we'll get all hits as fast as I can work the gun. And then I'll give you a subjective opinion about which gun I find to be the most controllable. So we're up on the target and cylinder dump. So I do believe I had all hits, perhaps, but it's hard to tell. Missed high. Okay, is that the hole in the lumber right there? So we do perhaps have one miss. And that's worth exploring before we continue. The recoil impulses of the guns are completely different. The 357 Magnum has more of a muzzle rise or a muzzle flip, as some people describe it. And the 327 hammers back into your hand a lot more aggressively in a straight line. Now, having said all of that, grip matters, experience with revolvers matters, and all things being equal, there's a lot of factors to this. However, I do not find that the reduced recoil of the 327 Federal Magnum is in any way substantial enough to make it an advantage. The only real advantage I see in it is, in fact, the one extra round in the cylinder. Still kicks awfully hard. In the past, to demonstrate the stopping power of certain rounds, and also for a little bit of fun, we've used poultry. Today I would like to do a little bit more of a scientific demonstration, and we've replaced poultry as our target with bowling pins. Lots of people are very familiar with bowling pin shoots. They're very commonly found at indoor ranges with 22s, and it's also a lot of fun. But what I'm hoping is that we can get a visual demonstration of which one of these has the most lethal capabilities. The pin on the left will be for the 327 Federal Magnum, the one on the right for 357 Magnum, using the same bullets we've used in the past. Let's see how we go. Pin on the left, 327 Federal Magnum. Violent reaction, of course. I'm going to set this one down. Now I'm going to load up the 357 and shoot the pin on the right. Right pin. Set both weapons down and go take a look at our bowling pins. I shot both pins. This is the 327. This is 357. As you can tell, bowling pins are awful durable. So as we progress with the test, I'm going to put more of a target on there so we have a better point to examine. So, be right back with you. Hang tight. I've now oriented the pins so there's a little more of a target. Hopefully I'll be on target and we can see which one of these guys is the most ferocious. 327 Federal Magnum, pin on the left. I'm on the target. Now, same drill, 357 Magnum on the target. Tried to be precise with the shot. This is the 357 Magnum pin. You can see our entry point, nice and neat, no exit. I believe that this is likely the entry for the 327 Federal Magnum, and it caught it a little higher on the thin part of the pin and split it out some. What I'll do is shoot one more time with the 327 and aim a little lower. It is a fast, flat round, but some of that could be my error. But you'll notice 357 Magnum does not exit. We're going to give this one more try with 327. Our producer, Matt, had a good suggestion, which was to try and hit the 357 high on the neck as well, which I'll try to do. One more time, 327 and the 357. I will aim a little lower with the 327. Get comfortable here. Now, high up on the neck. Hopefully that's high in the neck. This was the impact point of the 327 Federal Magnum. You'll notice here, no exit. None of them have exited. At Matt's suggestion, we did actually hit right on the neck with the 357, and it did split it out, as you can tell on the back, fairly similar to the 327. So, at least from pin examination, there is no real difference in stopping power or lethality, at least what one can discern here. Now, obviously, people aren't bowling pins. When you consider human anatomy and physiology, there could be a difference. However, I do not believe that 327 is ballistically superior to 357. Only advantage, as we've talked before, is the one extra round in the cylinder. So, that leads me to conclude the reason why 327 will remain a niche caliber is it's very expensive, and for one more round, I just can't see that the purchase is worth it. 357 and 38, still the way to go.